I'm using a Mac for this recording. And what we're going to do is I'm going to use the sample tutorial, not your real homework, but I'm going to show you how to go through all the processes for submitting homework and make it easy to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to GitHub, and what I'll do here is I'm just going to create a new repository, and we can call this Docker Homework. You can call it anything you want. And what I want you to do is just initialize it with README, put a Python gitignore in, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put MIT license on this and give it away. So I'm going to create the repository. Now once I have the repository here, I can do a nice little trick, which is I can take the link, come over to my terminal, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Git Clone. I'm on my desktop. If you don't know where your desktop or path is, I'm doing PWD, and I can see that I'm on users Jessica Williams. That's my ex-wife, not me. Anyway, so I'm going to go to my desktop, and on my desktop or wherever you want to store your projects, I'm going to do a Git Clone and paste this URL. And here we have a little mistake, but what I'm going to do here is I'll fix this. So just real quick, I think my daughter's been using the computer and messed up my Git again. So what I'm going to do is Git downloads and Mac, and I'm just going to download it here. Take a second. Sometimes I think it's good for you to see my problems, so take a couple seconds. I'll maybe I will check it. Sometimes I have to make a new terminal. And do I have Git now? Yeah, I do. Because like sometimes when you install something, if you have a terminal open, it doesn't reload the profile and get the path of the new command. So you have to close and open the terminal. So let me see where I am by PWD. See what directory. So I'm going to go back to my desktop, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I actually don't have to install Git. I forgot. I thought I had already fixed this. Anyway, Git Clone, and then paste the URL. Okay, so that's the Docker homework. So I got a Docker homework, go into the directory, and I can type git status, and it can see that Git is working here, and I'm on the origin master, as you should know. And then I'm just going to go over and get the Python Docker. And here's a little tutorial I posted. Now, mind you, this isn't your homework. What I'm going to do, this is just an example. And so I know how this works. And basically, you can read this, but the gist of it is you got to take these lines of code, which are Docker code, and then you're going to do vi Docker file if you're on a Mac. If you're on a Windows, you have to go in and take a text file, and you have to make sure that the Docker file has no extension. It doesn't. You got to do Notepad or something, but you can't have an extension on the Docker file. Now this is Vim and the visual editor, and so I'm going to actually just paste this code in, and then I press I to start the editor so I can paste and type. And then what I do is I press Shift : that brings up a command at the bottom, and then that's a WQ for write and quit. A W will write, a Q will quit. And sometimes if you haven't made any changes, it makes you do a Q exclamation to like force quitting. So now I have my Docker file in there, and I'm just going to put a little Python script here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do vi it has to be called the thing that they want. So my underscore script.vi. So what I could actually do here is I could do a git commit -m and just say added my Docker file, because this would be like the first part of the tutorial or the first thing that you did. And here on the command line, I'm actually going to do git add Docker file, and then I'll put that, and they can do a git status, and we'll be all good. So I haven't pushed it up, but don't want to do that until I'm done. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do vi my underscore script dot py and make sure that that's exactly what it's called, my underscore script dot py, because that's going to be my Python file. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste this in there and do a WQ just like I did I to insert, that turns on insert mode, and then WQ writes and quits. So I'm going to write and quit, and then I'm going to come back to my tutorial, and now I'm actually going to do a git add my underscore script, and then I'm going to do a git commit -m fix added Python script. And at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to build the Docker image, and I'm just going to paste that in there. And this might go real slow for you because it has to download, but then once we're done, we're going to run the image, and we're going to do docker run Python barcode, which is what we called it. So I'm really mainly just working on to get the program to work. You don't really need to understand the Python. You just want to understand. And Docker, you're going to get the Docker Getting Started tutorial, so you'll get more into that. But I just want to see that this works. And that was the output of the program. So I can run Python barcode, and it prints out the QR code that gets generated. And what I can do is do a git status. Do I have any files that have changed? No. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a git push origin master. And let me it's going to be my sorry, key. So that was just my password stuff. I'm not sure what my Mac was running. Anyway, this is just going to be my GitHub login, and it's just doing the login, and I can go back to GitHub, and we can refresh, and we should see we got the git ignore and the Python script and the 3 commits. And so added a Python initial commit that was automatically in Git when we created it. And then I said add my Docker files, and you can cleanly see what was done there. And it's just nice each step of the way that you add the files. Okay, so once I have this, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the link to the repository. And you can link the repository, or if for some reason you have it on a different branch, for some reason you want to send me, or I need to get sent, you can send me a direct link to the master. It doesn't matter. As long as it's on master is what I'm going to check. And I just copy it, and then I come over to Canvas, and then I would click on the Docker tutorial, and mine's different than you. But let me see if I can switch this over to like a student view. View, student view. And then I would come down to Docker tutorial, and submit assignment, and then I'd paste the link in, and that would let me submit the assignment. So that's what you would need to do. All right, so that's basically what I'm going to want you to do this unit is do the same thing, and all the other units pretty much we're going to be submitting through GitHub just like this. And what happens is that you're going to come over here and complete your Docker assignment if that's part of your course. So complete Docker 1, 2, 3, and then you read 4, 5, and 6 just to understand it better. Okay, so that's for the Docker unit. And we'll just shut this down. Let's see here, stop recording.